From the 915 to H-Town, from the Panhandle Plains to the Valley, and everywhere in between, this is the 50/50 Podcast, powered by College Promoters USA. Join me, Hector Cano, as we cover the Texas high school club and college soccer landscape, along with an inside look at the college soccer recruiting scene. The 50/50 Podcast is a platform about the people and for the people who are dedicated to the beautiful game. Here we go. It's another edition of the 50/50 Podcast, powered by our proud partners, College Promoters USA. They are America's premier college prep program and high school student athlete marketing service since 1997. Located locally here in the San Antonio area, you can find them in the Ventura Plaza Shopping Center. You can also find them on social media on Twitter at SATX Recruiting, as well as on Instagram at College Promoters USA. And you can also get more information on what they're about at their website at collegepromotersusa.com. My next guest, he is the head coach of one of the elite women's soccer programs in the country, college women's soccer programs in the country. He is more than just, much more than just Fort Worth famous. He is Coach Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach of the TCU Horned Frogs. Coach, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man. Pleasure to be here.
Appreciate having you. Thank you for joining us. Excited to have you here. And, let's go ahead. Let's just dive right in. I know that most people have heard of TCU. Most people have heard of the Horned Frogs. May familiar with their women's soccer program that has risen to great national prominence during your time there. But just briefly, tell us a little bit of where you've been and how you got to TCU.
Okay, born and raised in Akron, Ohio. Know anybody famous from there?
Yeah. I do, Mr. Gentleman by the name of LeBron James. Yes.
Yeah. We hail from the same area.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I went to a small liberal arts school in Ohio called the College of Worcester. Division III program, played back in the 1900s, and got into college coaching in 97. Bounced around in a lot of different places. I call it the kind of like the minor leagues of college soccer. Prior to coming to TCU, I was an assistant coach at Florida State for 6 years. Prior to that, I was an assistant coach at the University of Illinois for 4 years. Minnesota prior to that for a year, and Indiana University of Pennsylvania, or IUP, for a year as a head coach. And I started off in 97, as I said before, at a division called National University, the Eagles, and we coached both men and women there. I was an assistant coach there. That's where I cut my teeth, so to speak.
There you go. Awesome. Good deal. And now, so tell us a little bit. So you've been now at TCU for how long exactly?
11 seasons.
11. So this next fall you'll be entering your 12th year. Is that correct? Correct.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. So as we look forward, very briefly, we look back to 20, the fall season that was the 2022 season, and you're in the midst of in the middle of your spring season, right now in 2023. But what was maybe, you went 14-5-5, made it to the third round of the NCAA tournament, where unfortunately you bowed out to Notre Dame. But what was maybe the biggest lesson, biggest takeaway from the 2022 season?
Wow, that's a good question. I think that you kind of go into, well, we went into the season thinking that we were at a certain spot as a program or as a team for the season. And what I quickly learned is that you can't skip steps. And so we had to kind of go back and revisit some things, or visit some things that we kind of thought we knew or had under control, and we really didn't. So a valuable lesson moving forward is that, the beginning is the beginning, and you have to treat the team as if, it's a brand new team, which it was. and you have to make sure you cover all the things that allow you to be successful in women's college soccer. So valuable lesson learned, and hopefully we'll be better for it moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So right now, as you find yourself in the middle of the 2023 spring season, what is maybe that impact from that lesson learned from the fall of 2022? What's maybe the impact that it's having right now that you're seeing unfold in your spring season right now?
Yeah, we have a relatively younger group right now, and so really doing a lot of work on mentality and effort, and making sure that we're the hardest working team on the field on game day, and we have a few more spring games in order to get to hone in on that, and make sure that area of our team is buttoned up. And the soccer will come. We take great pride in valuing the ball and possessing the ball, and having a dominant possession, I guess, percentage. But our mentality has to be of a winning mentality, and we have to make sure that that area is buttoned up. So we've been working on that a lot over the spring.
It's hard to ignore what's happened there in your time there. 11 years, you're going into your 12th season this fall. The transformation that's taken place there for the TCU women's soccer program since you've arrived, and obviously besides you, what's been probably the biggest change? What would you say has been the biggest change that's led to that transformation?
A lot of different things. The biggest thing would probably just be us making sure that we've identified the proper players that are going to come out and be able to play a specific style that we want to play, right? And I think that I think my staff, Ryan Higginbotham, has been with me since day one. Has been a tremendous asset to our staff and our program, and we also have Tom Sturridge, our goalkeeping guy, which also handles this piece as well. As a staff, I think that we have been able to identify players that are able to do the things that we want to do stylistically, while also trying to win soccer games. And so I think that's been probably the most important thing. And as the old saying goes, it's not about the X's and the O's, is about the Jimmies and the Joes, right? And so you have to have the proper talent in order to play a style of soccer that we want to play.
Yeah. So obviously we have here and there we have some minor technical difficulties that we're pushing through. So great stuff. Great answer, Coach. Thank you. So getting ready to again enter your 12th season this fall. Things have clearly changed in your time there, and now you kind of go, you're a national elite level program, a top 10 program in the country. You have that target on your back now. How do you make that adjustment, and how do you make that adjustment, but also now sustain that newfound success?
Yeah, I think that that's why kids are coming here now, right? In order to give them an opportunity to compete to win not only Big 12 championships but national championships. And so we're going to have the target on our back, but I think the biggest thing that we've learned, we just got to embrace it. It is what it is. We've earned that as a program,
right?
And we're not afraid to play anybody, and we'll take any and all takers, and let's get it on the field and see who's the program on the day. So for us, it's about embracing the challenge and making sure that we're ready and buttoned up and prepared to play whoever wants to play us.
Awesome. Well said. I like that. Embracing competition. That's always a great thing. So absolutely. So spring season so far, tell us how it's going, and maybe what was maybe the biggest objective going into this spring?
Yeah, I think there's two. So far, so good. By the way, I think that we have a smaller spring roster, so it's making the practices a little bit challenging. But on the flip side of that, I think that the two things that we're really focusing on is, one is, as I told before, this effort and work rate and mentality, and making sure that is we're competing at a championship level all the time. And hopefully that's going to transfer over into the field when we play some of these teams that we have coming up in the spring. And also, just making sure that our culture is buttoned up, and making sure that going into the summer and the fall, we as a group, as a family, are all in the same page, where we're rowing and all in the same direction, and all are in it for the same thing. So, culturally, we're doing a lot of different things, but also from a mentality standpoint, we're doing a lot of things as well. And so hopefully, like I said, when we get to May, at the end of the semester, we're in a really good spot going into the summer months.
Right. Yeah. So obviously the Big 12 is in the middle of seeing some major changes, right? Talk to us a little bit
Mhm.
about playing in the Big 12, and just the grind of that, and also, as it's transforming, how do you all, obviously you focus on your squad, but what
Sure.
adjustments or what preparations do you make to adjust to what the conference will look like this fall?
Sure. And, coming here back in 2012, that was a big draw for me as far as taking the job. You look at teams that have done well in the Big 12 and advanced, and going on and done some big things in the NCAA tournament. That was very important to me to put ourselves or myself in a situation where we're going to get pushed by talented teams on a weekend basis. So it's a gauntlet of teams, right, that you have to go through in order to be successful. And over the course of time, or the recent history, we've been pretty successful, but hopefully we can continue that. So it's hard. It's really hard.
Hmm.
And it's only going to get harder with the four programs that have come into the conference. So we have BYU, UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati. And I'm really looking forward to playing these new groups. And BYU has gone to the Final Four a few years back, and
Right.
they've done a wonderful job over the course of time. And so very excited for them to be joining us, and seeing and making our conference a better women's soccer conference. And so that'll be exciting. Just food for thought. We play BYU in the fall for their first big game, and it will be at BYU. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't done all the research, but I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the first Big 12 conference game for any sport that they're playing. So I would assume there's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of
Mm.
excitement around that game, and
Yeah.
we're going to go out there and embrace that, and take them on and see how we do.
Yeah. And you all will be hosting them for that one?
No, no, no. We play them. We play them there at BYU
Oh, okay, in Provo. Okay, gotcha.
in Provo.
Okay, good deal.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, so one of the things that's always, having been a former college coach as well, one of the things that always fascinated me was to be able to, when we played different schools, is after a while you kind of start to see certain traits, certain characteristics of certain conferences, right?
Mhm.
If you had to describe maybe some characteristics, some traits, a personality of the Big 12, right, as a conference, right, when it comes to the
Yeah.
women's soccer programs, how would you describe that?
Super competitive. A bunch of teams with a fighting mentality to win, and every game is a dogfight, right? And
Yeah.
we've been fortunate over the last few years to be successful, but it's not easy. And I don't take winning any college soccer game for granted, because I know at the end of the day it's super hard. And you know, our conference is really good, and over the course of time we've advanced teams that out of our league to go into the NCAA tournament and make big runs. And so I think that's only going to get better with these new programs that are joining our league. And so I'm really excited about the future of our league, and hopefully we can continue to be successful in our league.
Yeah. Yeah. He is Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach of the TCU Horned Frogs. Coach, so what has we start segueing here a little bit. We look to the fall, right? And obviously you're
Yep.
still getting through the spring. You're kind of figuring out a rotation, figuring out some, your depth for the
Right.
fall. But what has you maybe right now the most excited about the upcoming fall season?
Our schedule, right? We play some
Mhm.
really, really good teams non-conference, and I think that the other thing that's it's a big deal is that we're losing some players that have been 50-year players, and so it's going to be a brand new team, a brand new look of TCU soccer. And so I'm excited about the team that we're going to be able to put on the field come August, and see how we do. But I think that stylistically and philosophically, I don't think anything is going to change. We're still going to look to boss the game with the ball and possess it, and create goal scoring opportunities through our possession. But we're going to have some different personalities on the field that it will be different, and teams will have to game plan differently for these different personalities. And so that's going to be an interesting, and it's always a chess match. And I'm looking forward to, playing these different teams. And, we've got, we're playing A&M, we're playing Florida State, we're playing Penn State. And so it should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So next one here is, as we start segueing, Coach, your thoughts. This next one could be very open-ended, not meant to be loaded, but can be, right? Is current state of the women's soccer, the college game, right? And women's soccer. What's your assessment right now, where you look at it, maybe where you've been, where it's been as of late, and where it is now, and where you think it's going?
I think that the gap between the number 1 team and the number 50th team is closer, right? I think that there's a lot more parity in our game, to where you look at it, and maybe back in the day, there could be probably 3 or 4 teams that could win a national championship. And now I look at it, and it's probably 15 to 16 teams that can win a national championship now. So I like that. And, you're seeing a lot of programs like Alabama who advanced to the Final Four for the first time ever in their program's history. And we're looking to do the same thing here at TCU. So I think that the gap between the top and the bottom is closing. And there's a lot more kids playing soccer around the country, and it's a very popular game. And, there's a lot of talent around the country, as opposed to, back in the day when, UNC could handpick whoever they wanted and everybody else got scraps. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a lot different now.
Right. Yeah. So, we know that obviously yourself and your staff, you make the rounds on the recruiting trail, obviously, but so on the club side, that is. Now, just curious, thoughts, your assessment. Have no idea if you ever get a chance to just mosey on out and make a high school game or not, but your thoughts and what you're able to assess, what you hear, maybe what you see on social media regarding just the Texas high school soccer scene.
Well, I went to a high school game, 2 weeks ago. South Lake Carroll, one of the best teams in not only in Texas but in the country, is just in our backyard. So I went to go see them play. But I think that typically, if I'm going to a high school game, it's not to. I do go to high school games, by the way. It's not to just kind of. It's not to kind of browse the field to see who's out there. I'm very interested in seeing a specific individual or individuals play in the high school environment. So it's very targeted, and we make a point to go out and see, especially locally. We make a point to go out and see some high school games to show our face, but also to let those kids know that we're super interested and show them a little love.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Coach. My headset wasn't working too well. Did you say you attend high school games? Is that right? I didn't hear you.
Yeah,
I didn't hear
that's
you.
right.
Yeah. Awesome. You heard it here first.
That's
so
right.
Great to hear. No, that's absolutely great to hear. Great to hear. So thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So now biggest change you think when you look at the college game, right? In the next 5 years, because obviously there's all kinds of the game has changed more in probably the last 3 years, between not only the pandemic, but then the introduction of NIL as well. And then the college portal, which has been around, the transfer portal that's been around since 2017. What do you see in your personal guesstimation as the biggest change coming in the next 5 years?
The biggest change in the next 5 years in women's college soccer. Well, hopefully they bring back overtime. Because
it's still a heated one, right? Yeah.
Oh man, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But we have another year of that, and hopefully after that they bring it back. I think that what you've also seen from an evolution standpoint is the comfort level with the ball at the goalkeeper's feet. A big change over the course of time that I think is only going to get better as these goalkeepers come through the system, to where they're an extra player on the field, where back in the day you get it and they just lump it forward. And so now they're a lot more comfortable with the ball at their feet, which I think is you'll see that, I think, make the game a little bit better as we move forward. Other than that, I mean, NIL and the transfer port, I don't think those things are going to change the game as far as how it looks and from a viewing perspective. But it will be a little bit different as from a recruiting perspective. And obviously now, back in the day, when kids were looking to transfer, you didn't really know about it unless they let you know that they were transferring, they were interested in your school, right? And now with the portal, what that allows kids to do is as soon as they go in, everybody knows. And so there aren't any secrets, and end up and come up in August and find out, oh wow, so and so went to so and you already know. And so I think that it's a little bit more transparent as far as the portal is concerned, but as far as the game is concerned, I don't think that it's going to change very much. Now, with hopefully we get overtime back, which I think will help our game out, and hopefully, with like I said before, with the goalkeepers being a lot more comfortable with the ball at their feet, I think that changes the game as well.
Now, as you talk to your peers on the overtime rule, you're testing the waters there? What's everybody's take on that? If you had to take a poll amongst college coaches, what do you think that would come back as far as in favor of or against?
Well, I'm gonna answer this in a roundabout way, but when it was being proposed, a lot of people were for it, and I think that they didn't really, I guess, look at all the different scenarios and how it can impact the game. And I think now that we've had a year to deal with it, I know a lot of people are like, man, we got to get our overtimes back because this is stupid.
Wow.
And so hopefully after this, it's a 2-year period in which they have to have it. And then after that, hopefully wiser heads prevail and we get the overtime back. But I didn't like it at all. And we had too many ties. And I know they look at it from a player safety standpoint, but I look at it as, now teams look at it and say, well, if we play TCU, we only have to play, we got to play 90 minutes. That's it, right? We don't have to play 120 minutes or 110 minutes or whatever it is, and 110 minutes. And so I know that they looked at it from a player safety, but I think it hurt the game as far as the different ties. And I know it made it harder for the NCAA tournament or NCAA tournament committee to make decisions on who should be in and who shouldn't be in. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully wiser heads prevail.
Right. I was a huge fan of the golden goal rule as well.
Loved it.
So to see that rule kind of go by the wayside. Yeah, exactly. So no doubt. All right, Coach, last one as we get ready. We start segueing here to our next segment shortly. But so this next one, kind of a little bit more of a reflection question, kind of a deeper question, but how you think about this one here a little bit. How will you define success for the 2023 TCU Horned Frogs?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that, we often use this phrase, the standard is the standard. And our standard of success is obviously, for me, the minimums is to make it to the NCAA tournament, right? So that's the minimum standard that we have within our program. And so we have to get back into the NCAA tournament. We got to be a part of the 64th team field. Right. And then, I think that we as coaches have to make sure that we maximize our strengths and minimize our weaknesses. And if we're bright enough and smart enough and clever enough to do that, I think that we'll have a really good season. We got to keep our kids healthy, which I think is super important. We have to have, our best players healthy enough to play in these games. And so we always want to make sure that is a priority. But we play a tough schedule, non-conference, and obviously within the Big 12. And hopefully that sets us up for success and we win our fair share of games to get into the NCAA tournament and give ourselves a chance to compete for a national championship.
Yeah, no doubt. Great answer. He is Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach of the TCU Horned Frogs. And this first segment, our Building Out of the Back segment, brought to you by our good friends, Global Scarves. They are the top provider of custom knitted scarves, beanies, and other fan merchandise in the U.S. All merch is fully custom with free design services and free shipping on all orders. You can contact them at info@globalscarves.com to get any free designs or quotes built out for your school or club, and also use the hashtag 5050pod. All right, for additional savings. So awesome, Coach. We know we're going to have you. You're going to come right back with us for our second segment, counterattack segment, where we get to pick on you a little bit, have some fun, ask you some random rapid fire questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Coach Eric Bell.
College Promoters USA, founded and located in San Antonio, operates as the only family-owned college recruiting company in Texas that brings a truly professional, local, and face-to-face approach to area high school student athletes and their families. As the lead sponsor and proud supporter of the 50/50 podcast, alongside Coach Hector Cano, College Promoters is proud to be elevating its support for the college soccer recruiting process more than any other service in the country. If your son or daughter is serious about competing in college soccer, call College Promoters USA directly at 210-494-6363 or visit collegepromotersusa.com anytime. College Promoters USA, the best investment a parent can make in their high school student athlete.
And we are back with Coach Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach of the TCU Horned Frogs. All right, Coach, it is about that time. You ready?
Ready, brother?
All right. First question. VAR, whichever one you want to refer to it as, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, good. Favorite number and why?
I prefer the number 9. I always like the number because it was the closest to 10, and 10 is being perfect, but I'm not perfect, so I want to be as close to perfect as I could be, so I like the number 9.
Good stuff. Awesome.
Plus Michael Jordan wore it in the Olympics.
Oh yeah, he did. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. You're talking about the second time around, right? On the Dream Team?
Both
Was
times.
that right? Both
In
he wore 9 both times?
84 and 92.
Did he wear that in 84 too? I gotta go
Yeah.
back and check that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Lake, ocean, or river?
Lake, ocean, or river. Get me to the ocean.
Get you to the ocean. All right. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an ocean guy. We know more about space than the ocean. That says everything.
Yeah,
so
sure.
all right. Bucket list destination.
Bucket list destination. All right. So one of my bucket list is destination or bucket list items is to travel to every state. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have 3. So there's Hawaii, Alaska, and North Dakota that I have left on my list.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So 3 states. That's it.
That's it, bro.
Right? Oh,
yep,
wow.
that's it.
Wow. Good stuff. All right. Hobby you discovered during the pandemic.
I don't know if it was a hobby, but Netflix was a friend of ours. That's for sure.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Yeah.
I think everybody got some new subscriptions after that. Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
All right. Next one. Greatest sports movie.
It's gotta be. Oh man, it's a toss up. My favorite movie is Jerry Maguire. Okay. However, if you just it is a kind of a sports movie, but it's a rom-com. It's got all this kind. But if you're just talking sports movie, you got to go Remember the Titans or Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle's
one of the 2.
Miracle, yeah, big Miracle. I kind of have a 3. It's kind of a 3-headed monster for me. That, but Miracle and Miracle's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This one I always love asking this one because it ruffles feathers, and you can't say your own team either. So, favorite and least favorite soccer team.
My favorite team is Arsenal.
Well, this concludes the podcast, Coach. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. No, I'm just kidding. I can live with an Arsenal fan. I can live. It's we've had way too many Manchester United fans. We've had way too many.
Man United. Right. Most people would say Tottenham if you're an Arsenal fan, but I don't care about those guys. My least favorite.
Yeah, I was about to say it's supposed to be it's supposed to be Spurs, but no. Yeah. But Man U. Okay. All right. So you're back to credibility with the Man U answer.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Who do you support?
I am in the Premier League. I'm a Liverpool guy.
Okay.
So tough times.
Play you guys soon.
Tough times. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
One thing. So Eric Bell is appointed the soccer czar in America, in charge of all of soccer. First thing that you'd change in regarding soccer in America tomorrow. Agenda item number 1.
No more pay for play.
Good. Hopefully we can get there one day.
I don't know. I think that ship has sailed. But if I could change it, no more pay to play.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. All right. As a coach, not as a player, Any game day superstitions or rituals?
Don't believe in that stuff.
None of it, huh?
I don't believe in it. Either you're ready or you're
All
not.
right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I ate, what I put on, how I put it on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either you're good
All
enough
right.
to win the game or you're not.
Okay. All right. Good answer. I like that. All right. Speaking of Netflix, most recent binge watch series of movies, something you kind of binge on.
Binge watch.
Yeah.
Over the holidays, I watched this thingy on BET Plus called Bruh, BRUH.
Bruh.
It's a Tyler Perry series on a bunch of guys just kind of hanging out and being stupid.
Yeah. And it lured you in, huh? Lured you in?
It lured me in, and I kind of
All right.
binge watched it over the holidays.
All right. Good deal. All right. Pretty good though. You recommend it or no?
Nah, it was okay,
No.
but it's just okay.
Did
But it
just
lured
kinda-
me in.
Just kind of left you like, bruh,
Yeah.
at the end of it, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next one's a little bit more of a deeper question, but in 3 words or 3 words or less, why do you coach?
To have impact.
There you go. Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, got 2 more for you, Coach. All right. Who would play you in a movie? They're making a movie of Coach Eric Bell. Who would play you?
Who would play me?
And you can't say The Rock because he's already playing me. So
Okay, got it. He doesn't look like me. He doesn't look.
oh,
like
you don't
me.
have to look like him.
who
Maybe
would-
it's personality, or maybe it's just someone you like, right?
Who do I like? Well, my favorite actor is Denzel, but he's too old. So let's say Marlon Wayans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that name in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, let's use him.
I was guessing any older than Denzel though? Isn't he older than Denzel?
No,
No.
Marlon is a younger
Marlon.
brother. You like Keenan Ivory or Daniel?
Oh, I'm thinking of
Wayans,
Keenan.
or-
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
Keenan. No, yeah,
Yeah.
never mind.
Marlon Wayans is one of the younger guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, last one here for you. Kind of a deep reflection one as well, kind of a hypothetical too. But
Okay.
knowing all that you know now in all your years of coaching, if you could go back to when you were a player, how would you have coached you?
How would I have coached me? I would have coached me really hard because I was able to take it, right? I was
Mhm.
able to take a coach riding me. But I would have coached me in a way that made me more of a student of the game. I didn't have an appreciation for tactics back then, nor was it really super stressed. At least where I came from, and
Right.
I think that set me back a little bit. But if I was a little bit more tactically astute, I think I would have been a better soccer player.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's something in all your years of coaching and all your stops? Do you think that's something that
Yeah.
in a player, either they kind of just have that natural it in terms of wanting to be a student of the game, or they don't, no matter how much tactics you throw at them?
I think there's some validity to that. I think that you really, a lot of players, today play soccer because they're good at it, right?
Mhm.
But the minority is a small percentage of kids that are really into it and dive into it and tactically understand it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those kids are the kids that you really want, because they're going to
Mhm.
be coaches on the field. And I
Right.
think that there aren't enough of those kids to go around.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and I think you've experienced it. I've seen it. I've kind of, as I've gotten older, I'm not quite as old as Denzel, but as I'm getting there, right? As I've gotten older, I've started to assess my players more. Like I'm not looking for it, but it's just something that I come across. Is I
Mhm.
can start to tell more and more, like from my players, like who would be a good coach or who has the makings of to be a coach one day. Do you
Right.
you
Oh yeah, you can see that for sure.
do you kind of subconsciously just find yourself doing that?
No, but you can definitely see it. and kids where they're a little bit more tactically astute and have a different level of understanding about the game, and they pick up things a little bit faster. Like, I see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Great stuff. He is Coach Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach of the TCU Horned Frogs. Coach, we got one additional question here for you from one of our listeners here from Coach Steve Sanchez, who's actually a contributor of the 50/50 podcast. He's asking, how do the incoming class of players look for the future of TCU soccer?
Man, I think that my staff has done a really good job of acquiring very good soccer players and allowing us to be who we are as a program. And, again, stylistically playing a style of soccer that allows us to possess the ball. And so we've got a lot of ballers out there, a lot of people that, we were able to find some diamonds in the rough, if you will, and that people don't know a whole lot about. And they're going to come out here and ball out, I think. So we're excited about the future. The 23 class and the 24 class are very good. And, come June the 15th, we'll start actually speaking with the 2025 class and hopefully securing some really good players in that class as well.
Great stuff. Now, Coach, before we let you go, obviously we got two things left for you, but one is where any plugs as far as upcoming camps, anything, or where you'll be in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, anything you can share with us?
If you're interested in coming to some of our ID camps, you can hit my website at ericbellsocceracademy.com. Be more than happy to spend a weekend with you guys and help you become a better soccer player, but also give you some information about the process of, becoming a college soccer player, and also giving you some feedback as far as your play and where we would see you fit in within our environment, or maybe recommending a different environment that would be more suitable for your playing level. Where will I be? I'm going to Phoenix here in a couple of weeks for an ECNL event, I believe, and then there's a GA event that we're talking about me going to in April. I don't remember where it is, but yeah, we'll also be around the Metroplex as well, going to some games on the weekends as well. Going to
some high school games, from what I heard, right? Maybe, possibly. Yeah. There
possibly.
you go.
High school playoffs are starting, right?
Yes, sir. Today's today's actually the district certification deadline, so they will officially kick off on Thursday. And
that's right.
And if you really want to get a heavy dose of Texas high school soccer, you can tune in tomorrow for our who knows how long. We're trying to see if we can beat last year's 6-hour and 19-minute bracketology episode. So we're teaming up with the San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. Our great friends at the San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. We will start at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow, and different format. It'll go in the order of 4A, 5A, and 6A. So lots of fun on that.
Boys and girls?
Yes, sir. Everybody.
Got it. Wow.
So,
that's gonna be a long conversation.
Was it Steve Katz, Joe Lenardi? They don't have anything on us. All right. And so, Coach, as we start wrapping up here, as is customary, we used to call it final thoughts. Now we call it stoppage time, where we share just any thoughts regarding the game, thank yous, shout outs, messages, anything that's on your mind. We always like to wrap up with that. And since you are a guest, the floor is yours.
Floor is mine. Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Well, first and foremost, let me thank you again for having me on this podcast. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of good questions, and I'm learning more about you and the team that you support. It's very telling, very, very telling. But it's all good. No, but I think that if you're interested in TCU, this is in our program. I think it's the way that we look at TCU soccer is the best of both worlds, right? You're going to get a fantastic academic experience where it's a very intimate environment, and you're not just going to be a number. When you're going to get taught by professors and get a very good education here in Fort Worth. And then you look at it from an athletic perspective. We're playing the big time schedules, big time teams, and competing at a very high level, competing to win Big 12 championships as well as national championships. And so not only us, but all the sports here at TCU are competing at a very high level. Obviously, you saw the football program make it to the national championship game. Our men's basketball team just bowed out in the NCAA tournament, and our men's tennis team just won men's tennis team just won the indoor national championships. Our beach volleyball team is ranked number
nice.
1 in the country right now. And,
Yeah.
baseball is ranked in the country as well. So we're kind of crushing it on all different levels. I know rifle is doing well. So all our sports programs are doing really well. And it's an expectation now to be competitive, and not only within our conference, but in the country. So, Fort Worth's a great place. I love it here. And I'm 100% certain once you come on campus, you'll love it too. So that's my plug for TCU and TCU soccer.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate you. And I know we appreciate you adjusting your schedule. I know we kind of had a false start when we were supposed to originally
my apologies.
air this.
We had some hail damage to my car, and I didn't know that. And I got out into my car going home. I was like, "Ooh, I need to get this sorted out." So I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, we appreciate you. And I'll share this on the air. You immediately, in the middle of all of that, you got on the horn right away and let me know. It's like, hey, we're going to need to reschedule, when I know really a podcast was the last thing on your mind. So I appreciate that. Our listeners, our supporters appreciate that as well. And most of all, we're just glad we're able to get you back. We're glad you're okay. And hopefully your vehicle is back and up and running soon. So
it's running. It's just on the mend. I just need to get it fixed. That's all.
Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. Awesome. So and excuse me. So our second segment here brought to you, our counterattack segment brought to you by our good friends at Gipper. Let me tell you a little bit about Gipper. Gipper is the way schools, athletic departments, ADs, and coaches create world-class marketing content. Join over 2,500 coaches, ADs, and programs that use Gipper to create high-quality visual branded graphics for your program. The best part, anyone can do it in seconds on any device without needing any design experience whatsoever. And just for being a 50/50 podcast listener, you can save 10% on any first-time Gipper purchase. Again, that's 10% just for being a 50/50 podcast listener. Just go to Gipper.com/partner/5050 to learn more. Again, that's Gipper.com/partner/5050 to learn more. Coach, this has been great. My final thoughts really in terms of for stoppage time, I kind of already made that plug, bracketology. So, our good friends at San Antonio Soccer Roundtable, Harry Austin, Rafa Castorena, who's also my co-host on Inside Texas High School Soccer, as well as our newest member of the team, Coach Steve Sanchez, who will be joining us as well, our 50/50 podcast contributor. We're going to be coming to you live tomorrow. Tomorrow at 12:30, and you can see this it'll be live on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, all over the place. We'll start with 4A right at 12:30. It'll be fun. Who knows? Tune in to see if we beat our 6 hour and 19 minute record from last year, or if we can actually get under that. So we shall see. But
good luck with
Coach. I know. Yeah, but that's going to do it, Coach. Again, thank you to Coach Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach of the TCU Horned Frogs. Thank you to all our supporters, our listeners. We continue to grow, now being listened to in 51 countries. Really grateful for that, and being listened to now in 40 states. How we're listened to more in more countries than states in this country, I do not know, but we are grateful nonetheless. So that's going to do it. Any final words, Coach? Anything else you want to share with us?
No, man. Thank you again for having me on the podcast. I appreciate you thinking about me, and as always, go Frogs.
There you go. Awesome. So he is more than just Fort Worth famous, Coach Eric Bell. So thank you again to all our listeners, our supporters. You're the reason why we do it, and you know what to do. Until the next time, keep downloading and keep listening. You've been listening to the 50/50 podcast, powered by College Promoters USA. Help us continue to grow by liking, rating, and subscribing on all major podcast platforms. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at 50_50pod, on Instagram at 50_50 podcast, as well as on YouTube at the 50_50 podcast. Until the next time, keep downloading and keep listening.